Well, 2025 has ended, and like I mentioned in last year's video, I consider December to be the end of the year of gaming. So I decided I want to share with you all my top 10 games of 2025. We've doubled the numbers of entries from last year, as I was keeping myself in check throughout the year. This was an odd year for me with some highs and lows, but overall I am looking forward to the future of gaming and everything in general. Without further ado, like how I started last year's video with an honorable mention, I want to give a shout out to 2 honorable mentions before we delve into the top 10 entries. And funnily enough, 2 of them were on the list from last year. We're going to start with my number 5 choice from last year being the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. I really put a lot of time into playing the collection this year. I decided in February of this year that I wanted to go for the Platinum Trophy, so that meant playing each game's arcade modes to completion as every single character. Not to mention also doing some game-specific things, like winning with certain moves or actually unlocking the secret Akuma fight in X-Men Children of the Atom. Spending this much time with these titles made me appreciate them even more than I already did. The one thing I can say is Onslaught, the final boss of Marvel vs. Capcom 1, is such a pain and made me stress more than I needed to, but when all said and done, I truly do love the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. Next, I do have to give an honorable mention to the number 4 pick from last year, that being Marvel Rivals. This game has taken the place of other titles as my main online multiplayer game. Like the MVC collection, I went for the Platinum Trophy, and this one was rough. Certain character-specific challenges like Black Panther and Captain America's were genuinely soul-crushing if I failed getting it. I got my final trophy needed on a match loss, but in the clip you're about to see, you can hear the excitement in my voice, even though I just lost the game.
Flashback. Come on, give it to me, baby. Yes! Yes! The fucking platinum!
I have enjoyed playing this game and will be here for the future of it. Hell, I stuck by Rainbow Six Siege for 10 years of mainly disappointment. I think I can manage some time with Rivals. Alright, kicking it off with the first entry, our number 10 spot, going to Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip. Try saying that 5 times fast. I'm not expecting a lot of people to know this game, but it sure was a fun time for me. This being the second title I had played by the wonderful indie dev team of Sneckflat, after previously falling in love with their title Wuppo. While this game is definitely on the shorter side if you rush through the main objective like I did, that main objective being driving your car into space, Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip was a funny and goofy game through and through. I implore you, if you enjoy silly indie games with fun side objectives, to give this game a shot. I love this dev team, and their games are so unique and full of so much charm and character that some games struggle to find nowadays. Next up, at the number 9 spot, I'm going with Balatro. Look, I know I'm a year late hype-wise, but Balatro took up a lot of my energy for the months of May and June. For May of this year, Balatro was a PlayStation Plus free game, and hearing good things made me instantly install it on my PS5 and give it a shot. However, my addiction to the game came a few days later. Me and my family headed down to South Carolina for my younger brother's college graduation, and on the ride down, I had Balatro on the back of my mind. So the only rational thing I could do was see if it was on the App Store. It was, and purchased it. That entire weekend, in between all the events, I would play a few games here and there. I do enjoy the roguelike genre, so Balatro has joined my rotation of roguelike games that I love to play and come back to. Jumping in to the number 8 spot, we're going with RoboCop Rogue City. Fun fact about me is I love RoboCop. These are my top 5 movies of all time. In college I took a class that went over the history of film, and our final was to write a review of a movie, and luckily RoboCop was in the time frame stated in the rubric. But enough about my past college classes. This game was a real treat to play through. As a fan of RoboCop and the world Paul Verhoeven made, this game to me is a masterpiece. Like those dumb IGN reviews claiming that you feel like Spider-Man and Batman, this game makes you feel like Robo. I think the biggest touch this game has is not only references to the movie, but Peter Weller's actual voice for RoboCop. It's the cherry on top. They could have easily recreated the movie's plot for a video game, but instead they crafted their own unique story for players and fans of RoboCop to play through. I definitely want to check out the DLC, and even replay Rogue City sometime near in the future. Moving right along to the number 7 entry, going with Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. I've always admired Dead Rising from the outside and never truly played any of the games myself. That changed with the announcement of the Deluxe Remaster. Seeing how Capcom's zombie titles are enjoyable and don't burn me out like the rest of zombie media, I decided to give it a shot. Plus, I think Frank West is a funny protagonist and I've always liked him in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. While I love Resident Evil's focus on horror, Dead Rising has more comical elements, and just feels like classic zombie survival media, with a few twists and turns to make it stand out. Refreshed with Capcom's beautiful RE engine, Frank's survival in the Willamette Mall has never looked better. Plus, being set in a mall is one of the more interesting settings for a zombie apocalypse. I'm excited to see what Capcom does with the franchise after the success of the remake, seeing how the past few entries have been not well received by fans. Fingers crossed we hear news about Dead Rising 2 Remaster in the near future. Alright, number 6 entry is going to Mario Kart World. I needed to upgrade to a Switch too badly, okay? My Switch was from summer of release year 2017. Plus, I like Mario Kart, but $80 is quite expensive for a video game. I don't know if Mario Kart is a system seller, but getting a game in a bundle with my new console was a priority for me, and luckily I was able to get into the Nintendo pre-orders via email. Mario Kart World is fun, but I am quite undecided if the game is more fun than previous installments. I think the new Trick Editions are neat, and a lot of the new items and courses are really cool. But the way Grand Prix is set up still takes me a lot to get used to. Knockout Tour is the big highlight in my books as such a perfect new addition to the franchise, as it brought me, my family, and friends a lot of fun moments this year. I don't play online, but from what I've seen online is that the game is in need of some help from Nintendo. Me personally, I think a great addition would be the ability to map out one's own Knockout Tour Grand Prix routes for some fun variety, as playing the same few courses over and over is kinda stale. Plus, not selecting a random 4 courses to either do the drive-betweens or 3 full laps is just kinda messy and inconsistent. Obviously, going from the over 10 years and almost 100 tracks of Mario Kart 8 is a tall task and a lot to live up to. But I'm hoping that with future updates and changes, Mario Kart World will be able to stand alongside its predecessors. Alright, number 5 is going to Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This game is the freshest release on my list this year. It barely made the cutoff. I love tribute games in Dotemu. As someone who is a moderate fan of the Ninja Turtles, TMNT Shredder's Revenge was one of my favorite games in the past couple of years. Side-scroller beat-em-ups aren't very common nowadays, but I love them. But you take all that, make a game about Marvel Comics, and I'm going to be sold instantly. I think the only thing that felt weird to me was the roster. I understand you need some heavy-hitting fan favorites, but for a game based around Annihilus and the cosmic side of Marvel, it felt weird to not see the Fantastic Four at all. But with a lot of replay value and hopefully more characters and content added in the future, it'll make this game a game I want to return to in the future often. Uh-oh. You hear that music? That can only mean one thing. Jokes aside, it was hard to decide where this entry would go because it sat at number 1 for a majority of the year for me. But a lot of games came out this year that I had a blast playing. And a lot of games that came out a few years ago that I had a blast playing this year. And that takes nothing away from Doom Eternal. This is the best shooter I have played in a good while. I picked it, its DLCs, and Doom 2016 on a sale last year, and man, I was struggling to get through 2016. I don't think it's a bad game at all, just I absolutely love the hectic nature of Eternal's combat a lot more. Plus the super shotgun is 1,000 times better in Eternal. By simply having a grapple mechanic tied to the gun, my enjoyment of the combat encounters went up exponentially. I also found all the collectibles and 100% in my story progression. I have yet to pick up Doom the Dark Ages, but I'm looking forward to giving it a shot in the future. However, I can say that Doom Eternal was such a great play for me personally this year. Alright, coming up number 3 is Pokemon Legends ZA. This might be the most controversial entry on my list, and I kinda stand by that choice. I'm indifferent on Legends Arceus, frankly. I have yet to truly finish the game, but I'm a big Pokemon fan even if I don't agree with Nintendo or Game Freak's decisions. I got the Switch 2 version of it, and it runs pretty well. I can't speak for the normal Switch 1 version, so I won't even go there. Pokemon X and Y came out when I first started middle school. I was in 6th grade when they came out, so while that fact shows my age, the games are somewhat nostalgic to me, so getting to go back to Lumiose for the first time in forever felt truly wonderful. I also got the Mega Dimensions DLC, and unlike the main game, which I could not put down until I beat it, the DLC is weird. I'm not a huge fan of the limited time and having to manually select every zone manually and going back and making donuts and all that. Not having it as one big new area to explore was a little bit of a letdown. I will go back and finish it eventually, but as of writing this, I am just exhausted with the DLC's gameplay loop, so I have yet to really progress that far into it. Alright, we're coming down to the wire. My number 2 selection for this year is Elden Ring Night Rain. You may not know this, but I do love From Software games, and getting to experience the first title they have made with the main focus being multiplayer, and not just as summons or PvP. I still have yet to play the game solo, and I like that. A fun fact is, I have only played as one of the now 10 characters, due to the DLC adding 2 more recently. I like Wilder, what can I say? The final boss is so cool. I think it's the most cinematically awesome final boss in FromSoft history, in my opinion, all thanks to a single attack animation. If you fought him, you know the one I'm talking about. I hope we get more content for this in coming years, as this has been a game me and my buddies have enjoyed playing together. The final point I'll make is that there needs to be more weapons added, because the runs feel somewhat similar, seeing how you're really only guaranteed a small list of weapons with a rotating change of buffs on them. And I think also the invasion events range from either pushovers to the worst experiences ever. I hope they put a lot more into the game because it's fun with friends, but sometimes a bit repetitive. Alright, with all these entries, we got one left. And the number 1 entry for my favorite game I played in 2025 goes to Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door. I'm like that clip from Frank in Always Sunny, where he's like, I get it. Growing up, I never had a GameCube, and by the time I learned that the Wii could play old GameCube games, I did not have one anymore. I had heard for years that Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door was a wonderful experience, and boy were people right. This is only my 3rd Paper Mario game played, but the 2nd one I finished. I enjoyed Origami King all the way through, and I know I'm the only person who wants it, but I would like a Color Splash remaster, as I never finished it, and I did enjoy it when I had my Wii U. The 1,000-Year Door was a game I truly could not put down once I got hooked. I think I did like 3 of the chapters in a single day. I think the characters and story truly set this game apart from most, as this world feels truly lived in. Life got hectic for me towards the end of the year, and the game went on my backlog. But I was determined to beat the final boss before the cutoff of early December. I sunk a lot of time into this game this year, and after contemplating where it belonged on my list, I had to decide to give it the number 1 spot. Well, that does it for my top 10 games of the year. 2025 was a busy year for me personally, and an eventful one too. 2026 is promising a lot of big releases, some of which, along with games I am playing now, I might do some review videos on, and they more than likely will have a shot at my list for 2026. Thanks for watching, I'll see you all next time, take care, bye bye.